Look, I love the Canadian people. I like Canada, but it's costing us $200 billion a year to support Canada. 200 billion. And I say, why are we doing that? You know what? We can make our own cars. We have more energy than they do. We have more energy than anybody in the world. We don't need their lumber, obviously. We have more lumber. We have a lot of lumber. We have a lot of everything that they sell us. But in particular, cars, they took a large percentage of the car making, and I want to bring it back to this country. I really don't want cars from Canada.
With just days to go before Canada heads to the polls, US President Donald Trump has inserted himself into the Canadian political spotlight with an explosive statement. Canada, he said, would cease to exist without the United States. Speaking from the Oval Office on Wednesday, Trump downplayed Canada's economic value to the US, declaring, and I quote, "We don't need their oil, we don't need their lumber, we don't need their cars," end quote. According to a report by the South China Morning Post, Trump also floated the controversial idea of Canada functioning as a US state. He said, and I quote, "I have to be honest, as a state, it works great. 95% of what they do is they buy from us and they sell to us." End quote. Taking his rhetoric even further, Trump claimed, without providing any evidence, the US subsidizes Canada to the tune of $200 billion annually. That figure has already been widely debunked by trade experts. But Trump wasn't done. He also renewed threats to impose more tariffs on Canadian imports. He said, and I quote, "We don't really want Canada to make cars for us. To put it bluntly, we want to make our own cars. We want to put tariffs on. All we are doing is, we are saying we don't want your cars in all due respect." End quote. Currently, the US imposes 25% tariffs on certain Canadian goods, including vehicles. Trump clarified that while he's not immediately considering increasing those tariffs, he's not ruling it out either. He warned, and I quote, "At some point it could go up." End quote. The remarks sparked immediate backlash in Canada. Prime Minister Mark Carney, who is seeking re-election, responded during a campaign stop in Victoria. He emphasized the need for internal economic unity and pledged to eliminate trade barriers between Canadian provinces and territories by July 1st. He said, and I quote, "We can give ourselves far more than Donald Trump can ever take away," end quote, referencing the sharp deterioration in trade ties with the US since Trump took office. Carney further urged Canadians to rally behind his party. He said, and I quote, "This is a time for serious leadership of a united country. We need to come together so we can fight President Trump together," end quote. Opposition leaders also weighed in. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh called the tariff threats devastating news and slammed the federal government for not immediately enhancing employment insurance. He said, and I quote, "It's impossible for workers to survive with anything less than their salary," end quote. Recent polling data from CBC's Vote Compass shows that while US-Canada relations were an early concern for voters, issues like the economy and cost of living have now taken center stage following the national leaders' debates. Canadians are set to vote on April 28. Meanwhile, Trump insists he's not attempting to influence the Canadian election, despite his timing and tone saying otherwise. Stay tuned for more updates.